Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln Wheat pennies coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we've got an exciting discovery that's sure to catch the attention of every coin lover out there. We're talking about a classic piece of American history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln Wheat penny from 1950. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny. But hold on. This little coin could be worth far more than its face value, and you won't believe just how much it could be worth today. The Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatic history, and the 1950 issue is particularly special. Released during a time when the country was still recovering from the effects of World War II, these coins were struck as part of the ongoing effort to meet the demand for currency during the post-war boom. At first glance, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny might look like just another coin you'd find in your pocket change. But when you start to look closer, you realize there's much more to this penny than meets the eye. First, let's take a look at the design, which is as rich in history as the coin itself. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic portrait of Lincoln has graced the penny for over a century, and it's a powerful reminder of the man who guided the country through one of its most difficult times. The reverse side features the classic wheat ears design, symbolizing the country's agricultural strength and prosperity. These wheat stalks were meant to remind people of the hard-working nature of America's farmers, who played a critical role in building the nation. So, what makes the 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny so valuable? Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. While millions of these pennies were minted, many of them were worn down through years of circulation. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a rare find, but there are even more reasons why this particular coin can fetch an impressive price point. One of the main factors contributing to the coin's value is the existence of certain rare variants, including coins with minting errors. For example, some 1950 pennies were struck with noticeable defects, like double dies, where the image was stamped multiple times, creating a noticeable doubling effect. This type of error is highly prized by collectors because it's a rare occurrence that makes the coin unique. These errors can happen during the minting process, and when they do, they add a significant premium to the coin's value. In addition to minting errors, there are other factors that can increase the value of this penny. For instance, if the coin is in exceptional condition, meaning it's free from scratches, discoloration, or wear, it will be worth far more than a coin that has been heavily circulated. A coin in mint condition, where the details are crisp and sharp, can be a real treasure for collectors. Now, let's talk about the real moneymakers in the world of 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies. The key is finding one with the rarest of features, the 1950 D with the double die error. This particular coin, which was minted in Denver, has become legendary among collectors for its unique and striking appearance. The doubling effect on the date or lettering is so pronounced that it's easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. A coin like this, in mint condition, can fetch an unbelievable price. So, just how much is the 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny worth? Well, if you're lucky enough to have one of these rare variants or one in flawless condition, you could be holding on to a piece of history worth a staggering $80,000. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for a single penny. Who would have thought that such a small coin, one that you could easily overlook in a jar of loose change, could be worth a fortune? It just goes to show that with coins, you never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you. Now, if you're a serious collector, this is the kind of coin you'll want to keep your eye out for. Whether you're scouring coin shops, searching online marketplaces, or going through your own collection, make sure to check your 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies closely. If you come across one with a rare minting error, or in perfect condition, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Remember, the value of a coin is determined by many factors, but rarity, condition, and any unique errors can elevate its worth far beyond what you might expect. For collectors, these are the coins that make the hunt so exciting. The thrill of finding something rare is what makes the world of coin collecting so rewarding. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more fascinating discoveries. Keep your eyes peeled for those hidden treasures, and who knows, you could be the next lucky collector to uncover a coin worth a small fortune. Top 2, we're taking a close look at a coin that's sure to catch the attention of anyone who loves rare and valuable pieces of American history. We're talking about the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1944. At first glance, it might seem like just another penny, but stick around, because this particular coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined. You won't believe the price it can fetch today. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in the world of numismatics. It was minted during World War II, a time when the United States was heavily involved in the war effort. The design of the coin itself hasn't changed much over the years. On the obverse, you'll find the timeless image of President Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of the nation's strength and unity. On the reverse, the classic wheat stalks remind us of America's agricultural roots. But what makes this coin so special is its rarity, condition, and a few quirks in its minting process that turned it into a sought-after collectible. So, what makes the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny stand out from all the others? Well, it all starts with a little bit of history. During the war, copper was in short supply, so the U.S. Mint had to get creative. Instead of using the typical copper composition for the 1944 pennies, they began using steel that had been coated with a thin layer of copper. These steel pennies, known as the steel cent, were minted only in 1943. However, in 1944, the mint returned to using copper, and the result was a coin that, to the casual observer, looked quite similar to the ones that had come before. But here's where it gets interesting. A small number of 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies were mistakenly struck using leftover steel from the previous year. This mistake led to a very rare and highly valuable variant of the 1944 penny, one that's made of steel rather than copper. These steel pennies are incredibly rare, and they can be worth a small fortune if you happen to find one. Now, let's talk about the rarity of these steel 1944 pennies. The vast majority of 1944 pennies were struck with the normal copper composition, making the steel ones a very rare find. In fact, only a handful of these steel pennies are known to exist, and they are some of the most coveted coins in the numismatic world. If you happen to come across one of these steel variants in good condition, you could be holding a true treasure. But wait, there's more. Even the regular 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, when found in exceptional condition, can be worth far more than its face value. If the coin has been well preserved and remains free from wear and tear, its value increases significantly. Coins in mint or uncirculated condition can fetch much higher prices than those that have been heavily circulated. For collectors, the hunt for these well-preserved coins is one of the most exciting aspects of the hobby. Another factor that adds to the value of the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is the possibility of minting errors. Coins struck with errors, such as double dies, misprints, or off-center strikes, are especially valuable to collectors. These errors occur during the minting process and are rare, making them highly prized among those who appreciate the uniqueness of a coin with a mistake. If you happen to find a 1944 penny with one of these rare errors, it could be worth significantly more than a regular issue. Now, let's get to the most exciting part. You've probably been wondering just how much the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny can be worth. Well, the truth is, it can be worth a staggering $98,000. Yes, that's right, $98,000 for a single 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, particularly if it's one of those rare steel variants or a coin in flawless, uncirculated condition. It's an incredible price for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. For coin collectors, this is the kind of discovery that makes the hobby so thrilling. The possibility of finding a rare penny, one that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, is what keeps collectors searching through their collections, browsing online auctions, and visiting local coin shops. If you have any 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies tucked away in a jar or old collection, now is the time to take a closer look. You never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you. So, next time you're going through your coins, remember that there could be a little gem among them just waiting to be discovered. And for all you dedicated coin lovers out there, the thrill of finding a coin with a rich history and a hefty price tag is what makes this hobby so rewarding. Top 3, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might just be hiding in your collection, one that could be worth far more than its original face value. We're talking about the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1953. Now, you might think this is just another everyday penny, but hold on, this coin could be worth an absolute fortune under the right circumstances. The Lincoln wheat penny from 1953 is part of the long-running series that has captured the hearts of collectors for decades. First minted in 1909, the Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics. The 1953 penny, in particular, has some very unique qualities that set it apart from other pennies from the same era. Released just after the end of World War II, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny represents a time of prosperity in the United States. The economy was booming, and the country was experiencing a period of growth and optimism. The obverse side of the coin features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has remained largely unchanged since it was first introduced, making it one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. On the reverse, you'll find the classic wheat stalks, 2 ears of wheat that are tied together to symbolize the agricultural strength of the United States. It's a simple, yet powerful design that has stood the test of time. But what makes the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny so special? Well, the value of this penny really lies in its rarity and condition. While millions of 1953 Lincoln wheat pennies were minted, most of them were heavily circulated and have been worn down over the years. The key to finding a valuable 1953 penny is locating one that is in near-mint condition, with sharp details and minimal wear. A coin that has been well preserved, especially one that's free from scratches, discoloration, or any significant damage, will be worth much more than a penny that's been through years of use. But there's more to this coin than just its condition. Another factor that can dramatically increase the value of a 1953 Lincoln wheat penny is the presence of minting errors. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, leading to a coin that is different from the intended design. One of the most exciting types of errors to look out for on the 1953 penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing the image to appear blurry or doubled. Double die errors are incredibly rare, and collectors love them because they make a coin stand out from the rest of the series. In addition to the double die errors, there are also coins that were struck off-center, creating an imperfect design that's highly sought after by collectors. These coins might have a unique appearance, with parts of the design missing or off the edge of the coin, making them one-of-a-kind pieces that are worth significantly more than a regular, flawless penny. But the real treasure is finding a coin that combines rarity and exceptional condition, something that's practically untouched by time. A 1953 Lincoln wheat penny in uncirculated or mint condition, free from any marks or blemishes, is a rare find. If you happen to come across one of these, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than a simple cent. Now, you're probably wondering, how much could the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny be worth? Well, the answer may surprise you. If you have a 1953 penny with one of these rare minting errors, or if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth an astounding $78,000. Yes, you heard that right, $78,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small could carry such a hefty price tag, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition can make all the difference. For serious collectors, this is what the hunt is all about. The excitement of finding a rare coin, one that could be worth thousands of dollars, is what makes this hobby so thrilling. Whether you're searching through old collections, visiting local coin shops, or scouring online auctions, you never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem like this. So, the next time you come across a 1953 Lincoln wheat penny in your collection or in your change jar, make sure to take a closer look. Top 4. We have an incredibly exciting topic that will have every coin lover sitting on the edge of their seat. We're talking about the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1949, a coin that may be hiding right under your nose, and it could be worth far more than you might think. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny may seem like just another penny, but to coin collectors, it's a hidden gem with a fascinating history and a price tag that can make your jaw drop. If you're thinking this is just a small, old coin, think again. This penny could be worth up to $84,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $84,000 for a single 1949 Lincoln wheat penny, and I'm about to tell you exactly why. First, let's take a step back in time and talk about the significance of the year 1949. The Lincoln wheat penny has been part of U.S. currency since 1909, and the 1949 version is a true reflection of the post-World War II era. The country was in the middle of a period of recovery, and the economy was stabilizing after the global turmoil. The 1949 penny was minted during this time, and despite being one of the more commonly found years in the Lincoln wheat series, there's something special about it. To understand its rarity, we need to dive into the minting process and the factors that affect a coin's value. The obverse of the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which has remained unchanged since 1909. The reverse side showcases the iconic wheat stalks, symbolizing America's agricultural strength. This design was popular for many decades, and it continues to be a symbol of the nation's growth and resilience. While millions of these pennies were minted, it's not just the design that makes the 1949 penny so valuable. It's the rarity of certain conditions and the presence of minting errors that can turn this seemingly ordinary coin into a treasure worth thousands of dollars. One of the key reasons the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is so valuable is because of the rarity of coins in excellent condition. Like any coin, the more worn and circulated it is, the less valuable it becomes. But when you find one that has been well preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections, it can skyrocket in value. A 1949 penny in mint or uncirculated condition, which looks as if it was just minted yesterday, is highly sought after by collectors. Coins like these can easily fetch much higher prices than coins that have been used for years in circulation, but here's where it gets even more interesting. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is especially prized by collectors because of the errors that can occur during the minting process. These minting errors are incredibly rare, and they can add a significant premium to the value of the coin. One of the most exciting errors to look out for in the 1949 penny is the double die error. A double die error happens when the coin is struck multiple times by the die, creating a double image or a noticeable doubling effect in the design. The most common areas where this occurs are in the date or the lettering. For example, the numbers in the date, 1949, may appear doubled, or the words, e pluribus unum, might be blurry or appear twice. These errors are extremely rare, and when they're found on a coin in excellent condition, they can make that coin incredibly valuable. Another type of error that can increase the value of a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. An off-center 1949 penny can be quite unique, and collectors are often willing to pay a premium for coins with this kind of flaw, especially when it's a rare or unique example. Now, let's talk about the rarity of these errors. While minting mistakes can happen at any time, very few 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies with these kinds of errors have survived in circulation. Most coins that were struck incorrectly were either discarded or quickly circulated, making them hard to come by today. If you find a 1949 penny with one of these rare errors, especially in uncirculated condition, you could be holding on to a truly valuable coin. And what does that mean for you, the collector or treasure hunter? It means that your 1949 Lincoln wheat penny could be worth far more than you'd expect. If you happen to have a 1949 penny in pristine condition, or if you find one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin worth $84,000. Yes, $84,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that such a small, humble coin could carry such a hefty price tag, but in the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are everything. If you're a collector or just someone who enjoys the thrill of finding valuable coins, the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is a coin that should definitely be on your radar. So, the next time you go through your coin collection or find a 1949 penny in your pocket change, make sure to examine it closely. If it's in great condition or has one of these rare minting errors, you could be holding onto a piece of history worth big money. Top 5, we're diving into one of the most iconic and potentially valuable coins from U.S. history, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Now, you might think this is just another common penny from the mid-20th century, but let me tell you, there's far more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny could actually be worth a small fortune, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on this. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is a beloved symbol of American coinage. Minted from 1909 to 1958, it has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades. What sets the 1957 version apart from the others, however, is its unique combination of historical significance, rarity, and potential value. Although it might seem like just another penny, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a prime example of how a coin's value isn't always immediately obvious. To understand why this penny can be worth so much, we need to take a closer look at its background. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny was produced during the tail end of the series. By this time, the U.S. Mint had been producing these pennies for nearly half a century. The coin itself features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse, you'll see the familiar wheat stalks, representing the agricultural strength of the nation. But here's where it gets interesting. While millions of 1957 Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted, most of them were circulated, which means they've been worn down over the years. A coin's condition plays a huge role in determining its value, and when it comes to rare coins like this one, the better the condition, the more valuable it becomes. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially when found in exceptional or uncirculated condition, is highly sought after by collectors. These pennies were used in everyday transactions, so finding one that hasn't been heavily worn or damaged can be quite rare. If you happen to have one that looks as though it was just freshly minted, it could be worth a lot more than you think, but there's more to the value of the 1957 penny than just its condition. As with many coins, minting errors can greatly increase the worth of a coin, and the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is no exception. If you've been collecting for a while, you know that minting errors are some of the most exciting and valuable finds in the numismatic world. And the 1957 penny has a few errors that collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most valuable errors you could find on a 1957 penny is the double die variety. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. The most common place you'll see this error is in the year 1957 or the lettering Liberty and In God We Trust. When a coin is struck twice by the die, it results in the design appearing blurry or with a noticeable doubling effect. This is incredibly rare and highly prized by collectors, and if you find one of these double die 1957 pennies in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin worth a lot more than its face value. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned with the die during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off or misshaped. Off-center pennies are unique and stand out from regular coins, which is why they're often sought after by collectors. A 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny with an off-center strike could command a high price, especially if the error is significant and the coin is in good condition. Now, let's talk about why these errors, along with excellent condition, make the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny such an attractive coin for collectors. Coins with minting errors or in mint condition are considered rarities in the world of numismatics. The rarity factor is what drives the price up. Even though millions of these pennies were minted, the number that survive in pristine condition or with rare errors is relatively small. Because of this, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny can fetch much higher prices than its face value. So, if you're lucky enough to find a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny that has been well preserved or that features a minting error like the double die or off-center strike, you could be holding on to a rare treasure that could make you thousands of dollars richer. But what's the price of these coins when they reach their full potential? Well, if you've got a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny in uncirculated condition or one with a rare error, you might be in for a very pleasant surprise. Coins like these have been known to sell for an impressive $73,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $73,000 for a single 1957 penny. That's an incredible return on a coin that originally only cost 1 cent. The combination of its historical significance, rarity, and the presence of minting errors can make this penny worth a small fortune. For collectors, finding a coin like this is what makes the hobby so exciting. It's the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovering a hidden gem, and the satisfaction of holding onto a piece of American history that could be worth more than you ever imagined. Whether you're browsing through old collections, visiting coin shops, or checking out online auctions, always keep your eyes peeled for the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny in great condition or with an exciting minting error. Top 6, as we explore a coin that may be sitting in your collection or even your spare change jar, and you might not even realize its value. That's right, we're talking about the United States 1-cent Lincoln Wheat penny from 1954. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny from the mid-20th century, but don't be fooled. This small, seemingly ordinary coin has some serious value potential, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny is part of the iconic series that ran from 1909 until 1958. The Lincoln Wheat penny has been one of the most beloved coins in American history, with its timeless design and historical significance. The obverse features the famous bust of President Abraham Lincoln, created by artist Victor David Brenner, while the reverse shows 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. This coin has captured the hearts of many collectors over the years, but the 1954 version is particularly interesting, and here's why. Despite being produced in large quantities, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny has a level of rarity and value that might surprise you. The key to understanding the value of this coin lies in its condition and, more importantly, any unique features or errors that can make it stand out from the millions of others minted. It's not just about the age of the coin, it's about how it's been preserved and whether it contains any minting imperfections. First, let's talk about the rarity of this coin. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies, the majority of them were used in daily transactions. This means they were subject to wear and tear, losing much of their original detail and luster over time. Coins that have been heavily circulated or are in poor condition generally don't carry much value beyond their face value. But finding a 1954 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition is a true find. A penny that has been carefully preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, or any signs of wear, can be worth significantly more to collectors, but the real magic happens when we start talking about minting errors. Minting errors are a crucial aspect of coin collecting, and they're one of the biggest factors that can push a coin's value from a few cents to several $1,000s. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny, in particular, is known for having some minting errors that can make it incredibly valuable. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, causing a coin to have a design anomaly. For collectors, these errors are like hidden treasures. They make the coin one of a kind, and that uniqueness can greatly increase its value. One of the most coveted errors to look for on a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny is the double die error. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. This error usually affects the date and the lettering on the coin, with the numbers 1954 often showing a noticeable doubling. For example, the 5 and the 4 in the year 1954 may appear blurry or doubled, which makes the coin stand out from all the other pennies. Double die errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors, and when you find one, it can significantly increase the coin's value. Another minting error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being cut off or shifted to one side. An off-center 1954 penny is unique and eye-catching, and collectors are always on the lookout for these types of coins. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin can be. An off-center strike can make your 1954 penny one of a kind, and that rarity will increase its appeal to collectors. The condition of the coin is crucial, of course, but the presence of these errors can elevate the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny to a whole new level of value. If you have a 1954 penny that is in near-perfect or uncirculated condition and features a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin. If you happen to have a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, or even one that is simply in exceptional, uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than its face value. How much more, you ask? Well, a well-preserved, error-free 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny can be worth a few $100s, but if it's a coin with rare minting errors or in top-tier condition, the price can skyrocket. You might be wondering, just how high can the value of a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny go? Well, if you have one of these rare, well-preserved coins, it could be worth an astonishing $71,000. Yes, you heard that right, $71,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small and seemingly ordinary could have such a massive value, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and minting errors make all the difference. For coin collectors, this is the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of finding a rare coin that could turn out to be worth far more than its face value. Whether you're searching through old collections, visiting coin shops, or browsing online auctions, always keep an eye out for the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny. If you find one in excellent condition or with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a piece of American history worth thousands of dollars. So, the next time you come across a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny, take a closer look. Examine the condition carefully and check for any minting errors. If you're lucky enough to find one that is in great shape or has a rare error, you could have a coin that's worth far more than you ever expected. Top 7 and last rare wheat penny. We're diving into a piece of US history that might just be hiding in your coin jar or collection without you even realizing its true worth. That's right, we're talking about the iconic 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. While many of us are used to seeing these pennies in our pockets, there's a lot more to this small coin than meets the eye, and it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. So, grab a seat, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at that 1945 penny with an entirely new perspective. First, let's talk about the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny's place in history. As you probably know, the Lincoln Wheat penny series ran from 1909 to 1958, and the 1945 penny is one of the many treasures from that time. Now, the year 1945 holds special significance in American history. It was the year that World War II came to an end. So, this penny isn't just a piece of currency, it's a reflection of a monumental moment in global history. These pennies were made during a time of great change, right after the war ended, which gives them a unique historical context that makes them even more interesting. Despite being produced in large quantities by the U.S. Mint, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is still considered a relatively rare coin. You see, most coins produced in this era were heavily circulated and were subject to wear and tear over the years. So, finding a 1945 penny in pristine condition is rare, and when you do, it can be worth a lot more than its face value. This is one of the main reasons why collectors get so excited about this particular penny. Let's dive deeper into what makes a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny truly valuable. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its worth. Coins that have been well preserved, especially those in mint or uncirculated condition, are much more valuable to collectors. The sharper the details on the coin, the higher its value. The 1945 penny, in particular, is sought after in excellent condition because its clear details can help tell the story of the era it was minted in. Now, here's where things get even more interesting: minting errors. For those of you who are familiar with coin collecting, you know that minting errors can significantly increase a coin's value. And when it comes to the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny, there are a few minting errors that collectors are constantly on the lookout for. These errors can make an otherwise common penny into a true treasure. One of the most exciting errors found on the 1945 penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the die, causing the design to appear doubled. On the 1945 penny, you might notice the Liberty and In God We Trust lettering doubled, or even the year 1945 itself. If you come across a double die error on your 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny, it's a huge find for collectors because these errors are extremely rare and highly prized. A double die 1945 penny is far more valuable than a regular one, and its price can increase dramatically Another minting error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die, causing part of the design to be cut off or pushed to one side. If you find a 1945 penny with a noticeable off-center strike, it can make the coin incredibly unique and valuable. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes, and these types of errors often fetch higher prices at auctions. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny also sometimes features small, subtle die cracks or other anomalies from the minting process that can make the coin even more interesting to collectors. Even though these smaller errors may not be as dramatic as a double die or off-center strike, they can still make the coin more valuable, especially when found in excellent condition. These unique features can set a coin apart from the rest and make it highly desirable. Now, let's get to the big question: how much is a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny worth? Well, the value of the coin depends largely on its condition, rarity, and the presence of any minting errors. A standard 1945 penny in average circulated condition is worth only a few cents, but if you have one that is in mint or uncirculated condition, or better yet, one that has a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike, the value can skyrocket. So, if you're lucky enough to have a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny with these rarities or in near-perfect condition, you could be looking at an incredibly valuable coin. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for: a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny in uncirculated condition with a minting error could be worth an astonishing $109,000. Yes, you heard that right, $109,000 for a single 1945 penny. That's an incredible value for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. This just goes to show that in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin isn't always determined by its age or rarity alone. The condition, the historical context, and any unique features, like minting errors, can all contribute to a coin's value. Imagine finding a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny with a rare error sitting in a jar of change, or maybe it's hiding in an old coin collection that you've had for years. You could be holding onto a piece of American history worth tens of thousands of dollars. So, the next time you come across a 1945 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to take a closer look. Check its condition, examine it for any minting errors, and don't overlook the possibility that you could be holding a rare and valuable treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You never know, your next coin could be worth a fortune. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.